like not big fat crystal. That is a good chocolate. But sometimes when consumer buy the chocolate, take it back to home, the bar type. If you don't finish it, you take it from the refrigerator, plug a few bar, put it back, and take it out again, plug a few bar. When you look at the surface, sometimes you see some white spot. Do you notice that white spot? What is that white spot? Mold grow on it? No. What is the problem? What is the major problem? The crystal. What type of crystal? The crystal is actually fat crystal. Fat crystal grow too big a size. In a factory, they produce tiny size because they can have temperature control. You normally do rapid cooling and so on, so the size is properly okay. Tempering process, the right tempering process. So when you at home, when you take it out, at room temperature, it starts to melt a little bit. You use your hand to touch, it starts to melt a little bit on the surface. The fat crystal of fat. Then when you put it back, of course, 4-degree fat cocoa butter will solidify, but the temperature is slow cooling process. Then it starts to form large crystal, fat crystal. And large fat crystal, when you take a look at it, by your naked eye, you can actually see the white spot. Okay, so these are the effect of cooling and melting. The effect of cooling have effect. Okay? Generally, they are small size, but they can go very big. 50 micron, by your naked eye, you already can see the spot easily. You can pinpoint it. Okay. Large crystal size, just like water, is grainy. Once you can see, when you eat it, you can feel it. If you cannot see, most of the time when you eat it, you cannot feel the fat crystal. So these are the issues related to fat. But I must let you know, not all the time large fat crystal is not good. Big crystal size sometimes is the one that we want. Depends on type of product. I'm going to share with you. Okay. So I will go into a very distinct property of SMA. You heard about this fat crystal before? Is this the first time you heard about polymorphic? Polymorphism? It says the same product can appear in different forms. Sometimes we call a person to have polymorphic behavior also. In this person, they behave this way. In another person, they behave another way. The same person. So it means that they can change form. The same thing goes to fat. Fat can change the fat crystal. At your level, maybe you only have to go 3 types of fat crystal. Okay? Because it's very complicated issues. When you venture into industry, maybe you will pick up more detailed fat crystal. I will introduce other type of fat crystal to you, but at this moment I will concentrate on, at your level, I will concentrate on 3 types. We have alpha, beta, prime, and beta. Okay. For your level, alpha, beta, prime, beta. In terms of crystal size, increase. Okay. In terms of melting temperature, in terms of stability, is the fat crystal stable, increase in stability. Okay. So alpha is the smallest fat crystal size. We normally say they are needle, you know, the one that you use to seal the clothes. Needle-like, all tiny needle-like fat crystal. Increase in melting point, very low melting point, very high melting point. If you have this fat crystal, alpha fat crystal will melt very quickly. This one will be slow. Okay. Stability, these are not stable, these are the most stable. Okay. So, now questions will be, which one is important to industry? Which one is more important to fast and oil industry or food industry? The answer is no answer. Because it depends on the type of product that you want to produce. Okay. In ice cream industry, we want this fat crystal. We know it is not stable. We know these are not stable. But because the crystal size is small, eating sensation is good, we like this. These are beta prime is transition. Okay, transition. So when you have beta prime, is it good? They will slowly transfer to this. Okay, when there's opportunity, just like chocolate. This is important when your food product, you want it to be have ability to reflect light. You buy margarine, have you eat margarine before, right? When you buy a fresh margarine, open up the can, look at the surface. It's glossy, shiny. Of course, you don't finish it in a day. You use it to spray the bread, put it back to the refrigerator, take it out, put it back, and take it out. After a while, you take a look at the surface. Is it still shiny? No, it becomes like dark yellow, off-white color. Okay. Is it spoiled? No. Because initially manufacturer put it in beta prime form. Beta prime is slightly bigger than alpha fat crystal, but smaller than this. One of the beneficial effect of this fat crystal is they have ability to reflect light. Okay. So, but if you melt it, it's very difficult to gain this beta prime. Then it will all crystallize at beta form. Therefore, slowly your margarine lost the glossiness, lost the ability to reflect light. The same thing goes with chocolate. Okay. So for confectionery, shortening, margarine, we want this. Okay. We want this. So what is this? Is this important? So far people only want this. How about this? These are important when you require to stabilize your ingredients. Okay, your other ingredients. Beta fat crystal is important for emulsion industry. You know salad sauce. Those creamy salad sauce. Like, have you heard about Thousand Island salad sauce? Salad sauce. All this kind of emulsion type, mayonnaise, for example. Okay. You want to stabilize water, sugar, and vinegar in the system, protein in the whole system. You require a stable fat crystal form. So you need it to be in beta form. So it depends on your application. How you want to apply your fat crystal, you can produce it differently. Okay. But I only talk about these 3 types. Okay. There are more than 10 fat crystals. You have beta prime. In general, you have beta prime 1, beta prime 2, beta prime 3, beta 1, 2, 3, and so on. Alpha, you have alpha type 1, alpha type 2, alpha type 3, and more complicated. Okay? So in cocoa butter industry, we don't talk only about these 3, we talk about more. Okay? I'm only going to share with you some. Okay, but I will still concentrate on this alpha, beta prime, and beta prime. Okay, so how can they appear in alpha form, in beta prime, in beta form? This is important for your level. So. I will try to explain to you. If you don't understand, you stop me when I re-explain. Okay? Triacid glycerol is like a chair. Remember, I told you just now, you have this structure. Fatty acid will not sit in one direction. They will sit at different direction. Glycerol, OH, OH, OH. One fatty acid. One fatty acid. Another one fatty acid. Is it clear? One fatty acid, second fatty acid, third fatty acid. It is a chain. Do you notice it? Yes. It is a chain. Triacid glycerol occur in a chain form. So, if you have 2 chains, I'm referring to R5. The 2 chains opposite. When they are this way, fatty acid, fatty acid, fatty acid, right? Fatty acid, fatty acid, fatty acid. This way, this kind of direction. Straight line, straight, very straight. These are alpha fat crystal when they crystallize. These are needle-like, very sharp needle-like fat crystal, tiny needle-like crystal. Is it clear? Yeah. But fat doesn't sometimes don't want to stay still, triacid glycerol, they want to be slanted. So when they start to slant, then you have these 2 very distinct structures. These are fatty acid, these are fatty acid, these are fatty acid. Okay? Both look the same to you, right? Of course they use the dotted line, but same degree. Huh? Beta prime and beta. Why it is slightly different? This one, all same direction. Flat. This one, the fatty acid is in different planes, means that go up and go down. You understand what I'm trying to say? One, it is flat. This fatty acid is not same direction, it's going up from here. This one maybe go to the back. Is it clear? So different planet. For One of the fatty acids whereby they are different plano, beta prime. The chair, everything the same direction, flat, no three dimension, it is beta arrangement. They still try to take the chair but slanted a bit. Okay? So if you ask me, how about beta prime 1, beta prime 2? It is degree, or sometimes this one same direction, this one go up, this one go down, different arrangement. So you have more complicated than this issue. So these are alpha, we call it vertical oscillating change. Vertical, okay, straight line. You have beta prime tilted change, it's tilted a bit. This one also tilted change, but every zigzag, this one is the same plano, same dimension. This one at different plano, different dimension. Right? So we only talk about two chairs together. So when you have beta 1, beta 2, we talk about more chair, how you stack the chair together. Just a brief one to share with you. Beta 2, this is one chair, right? This is another chair but opposite direction. One chair referring to one TAG. Do you get me? Okay. So when there is this way of arrangement, very close, the one that you sit close to each other, this one we call 2x. 1x, one fatty acid, 2 fatty acid, 2x. Is it clear? Beta 3 we call triple spacing. Why? The one that we sit is not close. It's at the tips of another fatty acid. So you have 1 fatty acid, 2 fatty acid, 3 fatty acid. It's still tilted structure, which means they are not alpha, they are beta. But you have 1, 2, 3x. Then you call beta 3. So sometimes in literature or in textbook, they name it beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, and so on. So you must be able to explain these are the structure. So these are, if you only take a look at this, then it will be like this one, only one system. When you take a look at more, then you have more system. Okay? So why is this so complicated? So because these are cocoa butter, beta 3. Fully hydrogenated oil, the fat crystal is beta 2. Milk fat, beta prime 2. The 2 is referring to 2x. Okay? The 3 is referring to 3x. Alright? So then you have different types in general. Okay? So it is more complicated than this, so I don't want to go into detail. Beta prime is considered normal fat crystal, and then they are very tiny if you take a look at it. Okay. Beta is very difficult, alpha is very difficult to capture in a microscope because they are not stable, very not stable. So if you want to take it, even you condition the whole camera, the temperature is low enough, it will suddenly change the fat crystal. It's very difficult to capture tiny size crystal. So normally scientists only capture beta prime. Beta, I mentioned already, very stable but sandy, grainy in size because the fat crystal is like ice. Okay, it's like weak ice junk crystal. So I will just introduce to you crystallizations of fat. We already go away from melting, we go crystallization. If you work in a ethanol company whereby they are requiring you to produce solid fat, so these are the process involved. Okay. Starting from liquid oil, you must have this particular stage we call nucleation stage. Remember, when I say you have more Mg and DAG mixed in DAG, they disturb the formation. They disturb this stage. DAG and MAG don't like the nucleus of fat. They will go and destroy it so that this stage takes very long time if you have DAG and MAG. So sometimes when your company buy an oil, supposed to go through this process very quickly, sometimes you find out that nucleation stage is long. Then you start to wonder why it takes you such a long time. It should solidify, but it is not yet. Then you must check whether they have, is it presence of DAG, MAG in slightly higher than normal concentration. Because sometimes when different harvesting period, different geographical region, the oil may have different percentage of DAG and MAG. Even slight different, 0.1% different, 0.5% different, it will have great effect on this. Because crystallization process is a cooling process. Cooling process is also very energy, need to consume energy. Okay, so companies do not like to spend a long time for crystallization. Then after nucleations, they will go through, start to grow. Once this one is successful, this is very fast. They will grow and grow into a big size, and then you will reach ripening stage. When I say ripening means no more growth of fat crystal. Liquid and fat crystal all stabilize. Okay. At this stage, you have to agitate a little bit for them to go through agglomeration. You know agglomeration, right? You study engineering field or unit operation. Then it starts to agglomerate, and then you can do separations easily. Okay. These are what happens when you separate styrene and oily palm. Okay. Palm oil, you cool down a bit, they are going to go through this process until ripening, and then you have the styrene portions, and you have the oily portion. This one go into cooking oil, this one will go into margarine shortening productions. Okay. So we will learn this process after refining. Okay, the whole process we call fractionation process. Okay. So in the industry, it's very common to go fractionation. It means that normally you have a lot of membrane. Okay, they use membrane. If you ask me what type of membrane, the size of the membrane is the size of this classroom. The big, exactly the same size. And they have maybe 100 to 500 layers. So maybe occupy 3 or 6 of this classroom. Huge. Okay, each one stacked with membrane. Big industry. Yeah? And then they are going to flow the oil. This membrane is double layer membrane. In the middle part, they have water piping system. Cool water go in the system. So in between membrane, they will pump the oil in. Okay, but the membrane is double layer. Inside there is coil of water coil. The water will not keep in touch with the oil because the oil is separated. So they are going to fill in between membrane oil, okay, and then pump in the water to the membrane. So depends on temperature. Let's say they want the temperature to be like 10 degrees or 15 degrees. It's enough to solidify the styrene. After all, styrene crystallizes at about 60 degrees. So they are going to make sure styrene crystallize but not oiling. If they also crystallize oiling, they cannot have separation. So they will use a water temperature higher than the melting point of oiling. So oiling will be in liquid form. Styrene solidified. Okay. After that, what will happen? They were going to do separation. How they do separation? They press the membrane. When they press the membrane on top, normally there is a hole for liquid oil to be pumped out. When they press, the solid is going to capture in between membrane, but it's just like when you have something with a hole. It's just like let's say you have a pack of juice. You store them in freezer. So halfway, you take it out, there are some ice in it, there are some water still in it. When you punch the hole, you squeeze it, the water shoot up, but the ice still inside. The same concept. Okay? So, then after that, you will open up the membrane, and then bottom, the industry is huge. Bottom is a huge basket. Right at the bottom, underground, the styrene will drop pieces and pieces into the bottom. So then you will collect the styrene. So these are how to go through fractionation. You will learn fractionations in a more detailed manner when we go through refining process. Okay? So I already mentioned to you NMR, but I don't want to go through NMR method because it is not so required at your level. But I would like to introduce to you this particular instrument, thermal analyzer. Have you heard about this? Differential. Yesterday I introduced to you. Okay, differential scanning calorimetry. Okay. I will share with you a schematic diagram of this particular unit. Okay. You can measure ice formation, you can measure denaturation of protein, you can measure gelatinization, retrogradation. Have you heard about retrogradation of starch and so on using this machine? Okay, so this machine is quite powerful thermal analysis. So what will happen to this machine is, I just share with you the theory part of this machine. You want to take a break?
Yes.
Okay, you take a 10 minutes break. Come back with this machine.